All right, this video has everything to do with peptides, guys, where the market is now and where I believe it'll be in 6 months just because of the saturation that's going on. So anybody and their mother can start a peptide company. Doesn't mean you're going to sell, but it really is. It doesn't cost much money at all to get a peptide company up and running, 10 to 15K max, website and getting inventory and shipping and all of the labels and all that stuff. There's a lot of headache though when you're getting the inventory because then you have to make sure it crosses customs. That could be a headache and all that shit. So usually the strong prevail in this game, meaning the biggest pockets that order the most shit. Now, where the market is at now is it's super saturated. Prices are going down. It's a race for the bottom. But that is because everybody is buying from China. China is dictating market norms, and we've seen this happen many times. Now, how do you hedge your bet against this if you're going to start making a lot of money in this? You want to start making money by selling American-made peptides. And I'm not talking about Paramount, who, bottles it here. I'm talking about making them start from scratch here in the USA. Molecularized, bottled with glass that's actually non-contaminated, either glass created here or in Europe, not in China. So there's no endotoxins. Packaged, everything, start to finish in the USA, like small batch tequila where you can actually keep your eye on the product and you can make it with integrity. China's just mass producing, and truthfully, it's not hard to get good COAs. If you have bad COAs, that's weird. It's not hard to get good COAs. A good COA doesn't mean the peptide's that good. It's the first layer of like 10 different things that need to determine if the peptide is actually a very good structural peptide that's made with love. Let's just put it that way. So the COAs is really surface level. There's scientific names for what you need to find in these reports, and I'm still learning as I go from the scientists that I have teamed up with to launch my American-made companies. Okay, now it's really big to get into the American space, crush it, and prove that you can be in the American space. AKA, I will show the lab, I will show where all the product is coming from, because everybody can say made from the USA, nobody can prove it. Okay, what they're doing is they're getting the kilos over here and then they're bottling it and they're saying it's made in the USA. Totally fucking false. Totally fucking false. That's not made in the USA. And the moment you can go made in the USA and not have saturated, or I should say, holy shit, these are way too high of prices, you raise the price point. You can find a price point where it's still acceptable, and working with a lab that understands that nobody's going to buy the product if it's too expensive, so they're doing their best to lower rates. So you can have a product that's in between on pricing, where China's so low and right here would be a sweet spot and it's not too high. That's when you have this whole new outlook on a market that is going to fucking flourish. The China market has already flourished. If you haven't hit the China market already, you have missed the mark. You have missed the mark. People are just now finding out about peptides, but it's going to come back to, they want them to be like the Ozempic pens, Mounjaro pens. They want it to be in a controlled environment. They want it to be as legit as fuck. They want FDA certifications wherever they can get them. Not the FDA, not that the FDA cares about you, but cigarettes are legal, alcohol is legal, but people want it to be more legit, and people are always wondering what they're putting in their body. And that's, truthfully said, there are some times that we get a bad batch from China and you can get a rash, you can get sick. Things like that can happen because it's just so mass produced. So having things in a controlled environment, and you're also injecting things that are not just healthy but actually bettering your life on both ends, because it's just like so pure, so clean. That's where American made makes a difference, and there is nobody selling American made. So to be the first at that and to grow a company with integrity is where this market's going to go. I guarantee you that, because in 6 months to 12 months, you get peptides from your fucking barber. Okay, so that's how it's gonna be. Now, you want the quality peptides, you want the good shit, you want stuff that lasts in or out of the fridge, because we're all being told it has to be in the fridge after being mixed. There's peptides, once they're made properly with certain ingredients and shit like that, where they just don't need to be in the fridge. Not all of them, but it's a different world. I'm getting woken up to it right now. Your dollar, the peptides will be a little bit more expensive, but they're pure. So let's put it this way. Denzel Washington, an American gangster, goes to look for the best heroin. He goes to the fucking depths of fucking Vietnam, right? In the deepest parts of the jungle, and he goes straight to the source, he finds the best shit. He doesn't find the crank, he doesn't find the diluted stuff. That's what we're doing right now. Everybody that's hooked on these peptides, including myself, that knows that they're good, that knows that they work, we're using China crank. The real stuff is light years ahead. It's just so much more potent. I said this in the Tik Tok, but the chemist that I'm working with right now, he goes, I've seen your TikToks, you've done 18 to 20 mgs of Red a week. He goes, you can't do that on my shit. He's like, you'll kill over. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna go to the hospital. He's like, I was like, how many do you think I need? He goes, half that. He's like, if your tolerance is really high. He's like, but that's a lot of, like, that's like some diluted shit. And I've used Retta from multiple vendors. Okay, so when it's getting mass produced, there's no way to fucking. You can look at the surface level of it and say, yeah, the COA is 99%, but that's only for a peak of time that they're also testing too. It's not for the actual, like, when you get into the meat and potatoes of the peptide, like what else is in the peptide that makes it long lasting, sustainable, and real. That's where you want it to be American made. So raising awareness, educating you guys that it's been trashed from the get-go, and even in the glass, the air of whether it's the peptide with the air in the glass or the glass itself, I'm still learning, there's endotoxins. And they're very rich in China. So you can spend $100,000 on glass, just the fucking bottles, getting, them all sent over here. And if the lab has integrity, they'll test the bottles, and if they're not hitting a compliance, they'll fucking break them, chuck them, whatever, and they're gonna order them from Europe. That's where you really want them, is from Europe. You spend a little bit more, you get cleaner glass. So it starts and ends with the glass, which is crazy. And you want everything to be made here. And that is where the market will go. And that's actually where the big money comes. Okay, so now what we're doing right there is you're weeding out the brokies and the people that just want to make a quick buck, the people that are making the shit coins and then they just want to rug pull, like those type of people. You're going to infuse the market with, I'll be the first, and then people will follow, just like my brokerage. I'm the first person to develop a peptide brokerage, and then people will eventually follow suit with the business model because it's genius. But that's where you'll see the market go. There's actually going to be investments, there's actually going to be some tender love and care, there's going to be a lot of substance behind the companies versus just making a landing page, putting a catalog together, and just buying, kits of peptides from China and then just wrapping them and sending them. There's a big fucking difference. And you're about to see, this will age very, very well, and you're about to see why.